So a couple things before we get going. I had a few folks, and it's totally my bad because I'm not a huge talk about me type person. I had quite a few folks sort of ask who I was and could, maybe just chat about myself a little bit. Just so you guys know, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I live in Western New York, so I live about an hour south of Buffalo. I spend a lot of time in our Cleveland office in Rocky River. That's about a little over 2 hours for me. So, it's not like I'm in New York, but I'm not New York City or anything. So, I've been licensed in real estate for about 11 years. Have sold, worked for ERA Corporate, worked for Realogy Corporate. In that whole time frame, just work pretty hard on my business and, have developed some tools, which we'll talk about, and I just naturally share, to help me run my business sort of as smooth as I can, especially I work with Jeremy in the group, and I've done this for probably a year and a half and continue selling. So, I'm with Jeremy in the company probably 60% of my day is involved with, with helping you guys in doing what I'm doing here. So, I have no choice but to put some tools in place to help me run my business because it's just me. I don't have a team. I don't have an assistant. No one. So, so a lot, really the only reason I say that is because when I talk about things and being, we're talking about time blocking today, to have a business plan, to have a value prop, to practice things, to be in touch with your sphere. It's because I do it and I do it every day. And I have to do it because, it's almost like me being a part-time agent. So I have to put things in place to help me. But the fact is I'm a full-time agent that squeezes everything into my day. So, so that's a little bit about me. I work with Jeremy and Linda in the group, I work with the leadership team all the way down, to us agents, just helping everyone, work smarter and make more money, grow their business. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. I'm available to you guys outside of this. So I apologize. I created the text group, but I'll send a text today. You guys will have my cell number. So you'll have access to me. You can text me anytime to ask a question. We can set up a time to chat. So, so that's just a little bit about me. Apologize, I'm a little hoarse this morning. But one more thing, we talked about business planning. I will have something to you. I'm going to work with Linda today. Linda Wilson is our Vice President of Real Estate Operations. So, and I mentioned earlier, she's working hard on a business plan program with your office managers and stuff. So, but we'll work to get you something so you can at least start thinking about that today. And then like I said before, you'll hear from your office manager and Linda and the whole group to sort of help you through that and fine tune it. Okay, so we're gonna do. I hope you guys are ready. No pressure, but I'm gonna try to get some. Try to be more interactive in today's session. I'm hoping that you guys were thinking about your. Let me find my slide. You're thinking just a little bit more about your value proposition. We talked about it. So one of the main things we did talk about business planning, and that is a big piece, but really one of the main things that we talked about in the first session on Monday that we just have to kind of always go back to is our mindset. So, just thinking positive, thinking about your business sort of consistently. And when we're going through this program, it's, it's not just to give you some tools to use. It's not just to help you put a business plan together. It's really made and developed to help you sort of change the way you're doing your business, or if you're new, help you build your business sort of in the right way. So, that mindset piece, we will keep going back to that. Again, just to kind of make sure that you guys know, this, yeah, I could just magically sell 2 houses today. But I could probably sell 2 today, 2 tomorrow, not necessarily 2 today, 2 tomorrow, but 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 6, if we start putting some things in place to change the way we work and change and work more heavily in concentrated in our business. So that mindset piece is big. So talking about value prop, this is where I'm going to kind of get you guys to start giving me some ideas. So I know it was last night, and again, I apologize for that, but I did send an email that had, and if you can take a peek at it today, I actually have some of it in the slide, about helping us start thinking about our value proposition. I mentioned, unless it's somebody that I know really, really, really well, or a family member that I don't really have to sort of, I guess, fight for, I call it fight for the business. We are likely going to run up against somebody, even if it's a friend of ours. They are going to know 2 agents. They're still going to want us to, sort of, tell them what we're going to do for them. So, so kind of talking about that value prop is big. So I just have 2 chats. I just want to. Okay, John. Yeah, John's like, it is kind of a tricky question about, or thing about kind of starting to put this value prop together. So I hope the next couple slides will help us start thinking in the right direction and realizing that it really doesn't have to be, like mind-boggling. Like, we just got to kind of come up with it. So hopefully, John, in the next couple slides will, we'll kind of help you get your mind going in the right direction. And then Dan said, speaking of positive thinking, I would highly recommend reading the book. I love reading books, especially in this, in the time frame when we're trying to, change the way we work. So I guess there's a great book Dan's recommending called Keys to Positive Thinking by Napoleon Hill. So Automobile University. So in chat, if you guys want to kind of make a note, Keys to Positive Thinking. Sounds like a great book. Okay, so let's start talking about value prop. So I left this slide up, define your market, define yourself, define your impact. And then of course we had some homework that we had talked about, kind of, starting to think about that value prop. And some of the things I'm on Inman a lot. And so I was on Inman and oddly enough came across an article about value props. So here are 4 ideas to start, helping you build your value prop. So, be inspired by happy clients. And I'm not going to read each one, but, I do want to take the time to kind of just summarize each one and be inspired by happy clients. Basically what it's saying is, you do something, even if you're new and you haven't closed a deal yet per se, somebody said, man, you're helping us, look for the right homes, or appreciate that, or appreciate this. So, just take what folks are giving you, and just sort of make some notes, that you work hard for them, that you're friendly, you're punctual, you're a great communicator, things like that can all help you start with, help start building the value prop. Be as clear as possible. So, we don't want to really get, too deep with things. Just, like simple and clear is great. Avoid confusing jargon. So, I mean, I have an issue with it when I start writing stuff. It's like I got to add 3 extra words in there to kind of, I'm like, yeah, I really don't need those 3 extra words. So, so just kind of be simple. Just know that if I put in something, CMA, if I just write, oh, I can do a CMA for you, you know, a lot of the public, a lot of the folks that we want to read this and go, hey, Wayne would be a great agent for us, you know, doesn't know what a CMA is. So, you know, so it's like clear language, you know, keeping it simple, because, you know, we're going to hand this to someone that is not involved in real estate, might have something to, you know, sell, or we're trying to help them buy. So they, you know, but they don't know real estate. So, you know, don't kind of throw out words that aren't necessarily, you know, just common language. And then the last one, emphasize your benefits. So that for me, you know, obviously the first three are great, but you know what, this is really gets to the point. Emphasize the benefits of, you know, what are we doing? What are we able to, you know, get to the folks, you know, to get them to realize that we, you know, we are the right agent for them. So next slide. So here's some examples of, you know, so, you know, it can be this simple. So I specialize in helping empty nesters find the luxury downtown condo that's just right for them. Like that's an example of an agent's value prop. That simple. The second one, I am a ninja negotiator with a track record of selling homes at an average of 2% over list. That's a great example. So to the point, simple, to the point, and you know, definitely showing benefit. And then the last one, want to sell fast, then I'm your real estate agent, as my listings sell in 26 days on average, 13 days faster than the norm. So, you know, besides these three, and these were in the Inman article I was reading, you know, you feel free to just Google, you know, real estate agent value proposition, or your, you know, value proposition examples, you know, and, you know, the whole idea is this bottom line here, you know, you have value, now make it known. So, you know, we want to, you know, figure out what we're, you know, what we're good at, essentially, what our benefits are, and create this. And the only thing I'll say is, you know, we have to take, you know, if we use an example, I have no issue with that. Or, you know, read 10 of them and go, man, that one, you know, pull 3. But we have to make this our own, because we have to believe it. It's got to be true. And we have to be able to essentially passionately portray it. So, you know, I guess I could consider myself a ninja negotiator. I could maybe change the, you know, the average of my selling price to whatever it is and use it. But, you know, the idea is, you know, what really, you know, triggers you and makes you sort of stand out from other agents. So, so we'll continue to work on this. I do want us to sort of have, you know, something in place by Monday, and we're going to maybe share a few of them. But you know, just continue to work it. It like I said before, it's not really, you know, we're not looking for this deep, you know, taking you, you know, 3 or 4 hours to create, you know, but just, you know, definitely grab some ideas, think of some things, if throw it together. You know, this is one that doesn't, you know, I don't have to do it and go, that's it, I'm stuck with it. You know, I mean, we can tweak it, we can change it. You can be like, hey man, I'm going to add something to it. You know, things like that. So, but definitely want us to kind of be thinking about that. So anybody have any questions? So I'm gonna get to the, so I'm gonna unmute you all. Well, I think it'll let me. You know what? Actually, I do not have a, you guys can unmute yourself. So I want to hear just from a couple of you guys, or whoever wants to, you know, that either has been thinking about this, or you know, at least so far this morning with a couple examples. I want to hear from maybe a couple of folks that just want to throw some ideas out there that either they've been thinking, or what are a couple, you know, what are a couple things that you want to, you know, have in your value proposition. So I'm going to stop for a minute and just let you guys unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself if you would.
Wayne, this is Roger Griffith.
Yes, Roger.
Uh, so one thing that I think has helped me so far as really a new agent with the folks that I've worked with, I do have a master's degree in counseling, and I think that really helps me listen and really hear what clients need. And I definitely have a passion to personalize my service. So just being a good listener, I think, helps me understand what they need and then respond to that.
Love it. Love it. Well, yeah, yeah, you will quickly realize that we could probably all, and it is, you're ahead of the game, because that's definitely something that we learn down the road. Is, it's so easy because, we've done this for, I've done it for 11 years. I could walk up to someone, walk in a house, and I could just start talking. I could meet with you and go, but when we stop and listen to them, first of all, it builds trust so much quicker. We're allowing them to express, what they want, what they need, what their fears, everything are. So I love that. I appreciate you taking the time to throw that out, because that will or should resonate with, everyone on the call. So I appreciate that, Roger. Anyone else want to add some thoughts?
This is Linda. I have one.
Sure.
So if I were working with an investor looking for investment property, one of my value propositions would be I can help find you a new apartment building, and we have a property management group that can manage it for you.
Perfect. See, and that's so I really hope this is helping, because those are two great ideas to be a core of your value prop. Like I say it can be that simple, but I don't want it to be sort of the simple way out per se, but it doesn't have to be, but like I said, we can start with that, or start with a piece, something similar to that, build on it. And we can look at it, a couple months down the road, we can look at a year down the road and kind of continue to build off that. So let me check chat real quick. So Greg says the ERA tools. So, technology can be a huge, can be a value prop. If you are, familiar and using the tools, and will use the tools to help, your clients, then the tools and the technology piece of ERA can be can be the value prop. Create one around your training, your expertise, and the tools that can help you help them. So, and then Michelle says, I'm going to work in my design background in value prop, but I need to work on how to frame it up. So yeah, so so essentially Michelle's saying, I've done design, you could obviously take that into like a staging, type piece. So Michelle, definitely happy to maybe, bring, help find some folks to help us sort of tweak that. So if you want to throw some ideas down, I'm sure maybe even Alinda and I could get together with you or something like that and help you tweak it. Be happy to do that. And then Denise says, personal experience with moving many times over the years. I mean, seriously, like that, that is truly, so we will all meet someone that says, especially when we meet new agents, they're like, well, I've sold, 3 homes, bought 3 homes. I've always enjoyed it. I want to help. So that piece of your personal experience, what went right, what went wrong, how, who was your agent? What did they do right, wrong? What would you change? You could, create that into a value prop. I love it. Good thinking, Denise. Gail says, I let my buyers know that I have brought buyers to their perfect home when they didn't think they wanted to even look at it. So, so Gail's basically saying, she's not waiting for a buyer to say, I want to see 1, 2, 3 Main Street and 3, 4, 5 Main Street. she, obviously, if that's the case, Gail is telling me, I already know it. Gail is telling me that she met with those folks in person, on the phone, whatever, but got all the information she needed to know, what they were looking for. They needed, besides 3-bed, 2-bath, they were looking for, extra space. They were looking for a garage. They were, there was something they were looking for. And Gail went to the MLS and was looking around. She may have asked folks, but kind of went above and beyond, just waiting for a buyer to say, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. So that's awesome. You asked and listened to your folks and were able to find them a home. Like you said, they may have missed that otherwise. So that's awesome. Yes, Greg says can recommend vetted vendors. So yes, all of that. Perfect. And then Roger, I'm going to see if anybody else wants to add anything. We all have personal experiences that are unique to us. I think we need to identify which of our experiences are an asset to our real estate business and promote those to potential clients. Personalize your work. So yes, I mean, kind of going off what Gail was saying, everyone before is, personal experience and things like that can help us tweak our value prop. Totally agree. Yep. And Emily says, yeah, I've moved and when you move once, good or bad comes out of it. When you move, a couple times and you're buying and selling, it's pretty simple for you to be able to realize what went right, what went wrong, and then, use that in your business. So, all right. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Anybody else want to add anything? Darlene, you want to add anything that, sort of from your experience as far as value propping? Sorry, I totally just put you on the spot there.
That's okay. No, I appreciate it. I'm actually, I have a value proposition that basically talks about years of experience, integrity, and having the ability to negotiate in tough situations.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it. So, yeah. So, we all don't have, the years of experience, but, or maybe the negotiating part, but, I love the word integrity. It would just jump out. Obviously, you have to be, you have to have integrity. So we can't just throw words out and then, have folks realize like, yeah, I didn't really see that, but words that are very powerful can help us, create our value prop. So I love it. Thank you so much.
The other thing that worked well for me is to demonstrate to them very quick responses. If anybody should text or call me, email, whatever, usually there's a very quick response.
Awesome. Yeah, that starts, that will quickly, like I said earlier, we're kind of working on this value prop and want to create it and have something in place, because there's so many agents in the market. I know, well, besides us being agents, but if I was just to say, I want to list my house or I want to go buy something, I personally know, and knew before I was in the business, half a dozen agents. So, so we have to really think about, our business and sort of sell ourselves and talk about ourselves and just, and I say that just, it's like, hey, I sell real estate. So when we value prop and we get in front of someone and we sort of have that contact face to face or over the phone and we're like on the verge of working together, like Darlene said, the first, like you're in communication with them, you're not hounding them if they don't want to, but if they send something and you get back to them, they immediately are on the other end of that phone or conversation going, wow, that was quick. Like I was expecting to hear from Darlene, like maybe tomorrow morning, and Darlene gets back to them, as quick as she can, that will be an immediate, on the client side, them going, wow, you know, and when it happens the second time, you know, we can't always, you know, if I got something right now, I can't stop and go, hey, I got to respond to this, but you better believe at 11 o'clock, I'm going to sort of check my messages and get back to someone. And we just, if we stay on that, you know, and consistently do that, you know, we'll build trust very quickly with our clients. So awesome. Anybody else want to add anything? Any thoughts? Hopefully, maybe John, did that start help you, you know, kind of put your mind in the right direction to help you create your own? Perfect. All right. So please, you know, let's continue to work on that. Let's see if we can't have something. I'd love to see everyone's, you know, on Monday. We'll go through them. If you guys want to throw an idea out at me, you know, you can respond to the email. I send it to everybody, but if you just run, you know, a reply to just me and want to say, hey, this is what I have, what do you think? I'm totally happy to sort of help you tweak it or you know, agree with you or whatever. So so if you guys want to go back and forth until Monday, please just let me know. Okay, so let me just keep going here. Just one more, here are some other ideas. These are a little bit longer ones, but you know, I'm not going to read them, but I'm going to leave this page up just for a second. I actually, you know what, I'm going to make a note and maybe I'll send these 3 to you, but you know, these, like I said, these are a little bit. All right, just made a note to make sure I send them to you. You know, a little bit more, a little bit in depth. You know, you'll see that this first one's talking about a specific area. That's never a bad thing. You know, when you hire, so, you know, some of our new agents, you know, don't have the years of experience, don't have, you know, the negotiating skills because, you know, you're new. So, you know, sort of talking about yourself as part of a team. So one thing you need to realize if you're new or newer is that you're part of a team. And fortunately, your team is everyone you see on this call is from Jeremy Raby, the owner of the company, down, you know, to our newest agent. Like, that is your team. So you have access to Linda or your office manager or all these folks that if you get in a situation and go, I'm in, you know, there's 3 offers, I want to make sure I get this, what can I do? You know, you're not on, you know, you're not at this by yourself. You have everyone, you have agents with 30 years experience that we can call and we'll help you, walk you through that. So just always remember that. So sometimes when you're, you know, if you're writing this and you want to kind of, you know, put it out there that you have a team behind you, that's never a bad thing to talk about or sort of have in your mindset. Is, you know, yeah, I'm in this, you know, 6 months, you know, but you're not new, you know, you're not alone. You know, these are my assets and I have a team behind me. So pretty important for us to remember that as well. Before I move on, I just have a couple chats. Oh, great. Michelle says we can screenshot them. So yeah, please, if you want to, you know, I'll leave that up for a second, but if you want to snap a picture of that or screenshot it. Oh, Dwayne, I am going to make sure that you're on my email list. I apologize. I took everybody from the registration, but I'll make a note. Okay. So I will make sure that I have you and I'll forward the recording that I did, and then from now on add you to the list. Okay, so thank you guys for the interaction there. I love the everything that you guys added to our value prop conversation. So we're going to kind of just move on here and finish this session talking about, well, first one is right problems. So there are right problems, there are wrong problems. So, you know, the one thing that we talk about a lot, and when I say we, Jeremy, Linda, you know, and I talk about this, you know, we're always talking about, you know, the tools and like if we get, it's a perfect example with like new agents. So, if I sat down with a new agent and said, hey, here's the listing presentation. We want to fix this. We want to get it going. We want it to be perfect for you, or, any sort of tool that we have. If you don't have a client or contact on the other end to do anything, to show the listing presentation to, that's a bigger problem than not having one. So, so we're big on getting you in front of folks, and then having you come to us and say, oh my gosh, I got a listing appointment Thursday, what do I do? So, we're going to talk a lot over the next couple weeks. Again, this is going to be something that you hear from your office manager. And we just did a tool of the month recording on listing presentations. So, so number one, we need, we really want someone to sit in front of and potentially get a listing. But when that happens, we actually do need to have that listing presentation in place. So just kind of realize, as we continue to talk about listing presentations, and I'll just say that word over and over because it's so important. But in reality, the sort of the idea of this slide is, go out and get a problem. And I probably shouldn't say that, like, go find a problem, but problems with real estate agents is I have someone that wants to do something and I'm not sure what to do. That's a great problem to have. And that's when you walk in the office and your office coordinator's sitting right there, your office manager's available to you. And then of course we all are for you to help us, and we will, we'll help you get a listing presentation in place. We will help you, if it's a negotiating thing, we'll help you find the right house for a potential buyer, things like that. So just kind of I guess it's good to follow this one up with, you guys, no one, I don't care if you're, new in the business or experienced 30 years, no one is alone. We are here for you. And will help you through, all of your situations. Yes. So I'm going to just, my version of, and I will see it in the chat, but I'm going to, Michelle just asked for something that I'm going to. So yeah, great question. I did your second part, the recorded tool of the month. So just side note real quick, we actually do, for anybody that is not familiar with it, we do a tool of the month call. It is the third Thursday of the month, every month. It varies month to month. We kind of feed off of what the agents are saying. We ask the office managers a lot, like, hey, what are you hearing from the agents? So we kind of tweak that tool of the month for each month and what might be hot or what the agents might be saying they need. And we record it. So all of those recordings are available. They would be posted on the hub. And they're also on our ERA Real Solutions YouTube channel. So the listing presentations one I just uploaded to the YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, look for channels, ERA Real Solutions, you can, I think it's subscribe to it, or I don't think it's a join. I think it's a subscribe. And then you kind of get, when we upload a video to the YouTube channel, you kind of get a message or you have access to it. So definitely would encourage you to go to the YouTube. They are posted on the hub as well, in Facebook pages, whatever each office or location has, but definitely can get that recording on the hub or the YouTube channel. Great question. Okay, so as we move through here, you know what, I'm going to, I don't know why apologize for that. I don't know why. So, I'm going to continue to talk about the right attitude. So, there are things that you should constantly sort of tell yourself. I'm personally a believer of if you think negative, you're probably going to be negative. I think it's important for us to, you know, just constantly think, you know, obviously there's days when you're, you know, you're feeling this or feeling that. I'm not, you know, we know that, but kind of with your business, we really want to just think positive. You know, I'm going to hit my goals. So that kind of goes back to, you know, knowing our business, knowing what we want to do in 2021, knowing what we did in 20, what we want to change and adjust and do in 2021. So, you know, whatever triggers you, but this right here, this information, you know, little section here, you know, could almost be something that I would print out, cut out, and I would post somewhere where I would see it constantly, you know, next to your computer, on your wall. You know, so if you have any sort of, you know, sayings or anything that sort of picks you up a little bit, you know, kind of like sometimes music does. We talk about music, what picks you up, but, you know, something like this, you know, will help you, you know, if that can help you, you know, by all means, like, you know, look at it every day, think about it every day, put it somewhere where you see it, and then let it just kind of help you, you know, let it push you to, you know, I say hit your goals, but, you know, just kind of make your, you know, your business more positive, you more positive, get you through the day kind of thing. So I just wanted to talk about that quick. So now, so we've talked about attitude and mindset. That will just keep going. The business planning piece is something we will be working on. So we're kind of getting into like, man, I got some homework to do. If I'm new, I got to, you know, build some things. If I'm experienced, I got to kind of stop and go, yeah, I haven't really thought about that in a while. So the business planning piece is a big piece. We'll be working on that. The value prop piece, we'll be working on that. The listing presentation piece, we'll be working on that. So it's not like we're going to need these all done by Monday, but by the end of the course, you know, we really want everyone to have all of these pieces in place. So the next one that we have to start thinking about, and it's really, I mean, it's just crucial. I don't care how long you've been selling. It does not matter. We need to start creating a database. Friends, family, you know, I mean, you could just, the list could just go crazy. So friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, past coworkers, you know, people you went to school with, the teachers in school, you know, just everybody has to sort of start coming into one spot. You know, and it's so important. So I'm going to just kind of show you this. I will email this to you. I'm not sure if it's in the, I'll check to see if it's in the participation workbook, but basically it says, who do you know? And, you know, it is listing, you know, just, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of giving you ideas of who you know. It's just a matter of, you know, like, who do I know? And when I go through and it says painters. Okay, I know a painter. Oh, I know a plumber. I know an electrician. I know folks at my church. I know folks from, you know, from my kids' sports events, whatever. So, so the idea of creating, you know, a database, and obviously Zap, I apologize, just check. Greg, yes, I emailed a copy of a participation workbook. I can actually resend that. I'm going to make a note. I apologize. So I'll resend that and make sure you get that. But yeah, I sent that out maybe Saturday morning of last week, and there's 4 workbooks for the 4 weeks. But I'll make sure you get that today. So yes, the CRM, you know, just so important. You know, the database is one piece, but obviously we have a program called Zap that is available to us, and you know, allows us to do a lot of things with it. Obviously, stay in communication with folks and things like that. Some folks in the company use a different CRM. Personally, you know, I don't care which CRM you use. Zap is at no cost to us, but you know, we have to use it. You know, we can't just say, oh, I have this program, and if we don't do anything with it, you know, we're not in touch with our past clients, with our neighbors, friends, and family, and things like that. So, so I'm going to kind of see real quick. there's two parts to this question. So I appreciate anybody, just unmute yourself, throw out a yes or a no, or throw it in chat. Who on the call has, first of all, a database? So, I mean, just know the database is not, you don't create your database and go, I'm done. The database is forever changing. Obviously, we want to continue to add to it. You meet someone today, they go in your database. You think of someone today, like if you're just on social and you're like, oh man, I haven't thought about John in a while. He needs to go in your database. So I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to check chat, but if you guys will unmute yourself and just let me know if you have a database, if you have a Rolodex, if you have an Excel spreadsheet, something like that. So anybody that will unmute yourself and just kind of let me know what you're thinking. Okay, lots of folks. John, Robin, Justin uses Zap. Gail uses Buffini CRM. Michelle is in Zap. Perfect. Greg, yes. Okay, so lots of yeses there. So Darlene, I'm going to put you on the spot again because I'm curious. You've been in the business a little while. What do you have a database, and currently where is it?
Yes, I do have a database. I actually do not have it in our CRM right now. I have been managing it from my Google Docs, actually. I can't do as much with it in my Google Docs as I would like. But I don't have an assistant that could help me with moving it over and getting it set up and so forth. So one of these days, when I have an opportunity to work with either you or maybe we've got somebody that I think you just hired recently that is, how can I say, they're going to help us with the files, for example. That's when I think I might try to recruit somebody who knows databases and can help me with getting those contacts moved over. But I have put together this list since 2003, and I've maintained the list, keeping everybody up to date. Every time I put something into my iPhone, it automatically updates my contact record in Google Docs, but I don't have them in a communications format that would certainly, of course, be helpful.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. So number one is that Darlene has a database. And is working it. So that's number one. I knew that answer because I've worked with Darlene, in the past, and we were working on getting it sort of, together, and then, we were going to put it in Zap. So Darlene, I am more than happy to touch base with you, and it's probably perfect timing because we will have a long-term follow-up plan automatically in there. We can auto assign. So, in Zap. So I'll definitely help you with that sooner than later.
One thing is, it's like 22,000 contacts though. And that
Nice.
was the problem with before on the database that I had. It was so big that it was hardly functional. And so what I've been doing over the last year is, tweaking it, bringing it down. So I'm now down to 16,000, but it's got to be tweaked because that's too many in the system to be able to do things easily.
Yeah. That's a good problem to have, but that's the way you do it. Obviously, 16,000 is quite the number, but the idea that makes you think or realize that, you want to keep adding to it. So it's not just I got it to 300, I'm done. It's consistently adding to it. It's when you meet someone, it's when you think of someone, you continue to add to it. So just a couple other.
The one thing that's important, that has been really important for me, is to identify how I met them, when I met them, and under what circumstances that I have them in my contact record. Because You know, I had two John Smiths in there the other day, and I texted one of them because I thought he was the plumber. And he wasn't the plumber. So it was like, oh gosh, I had the wrong one. So it's really kind of crazy. You really, really have to tweak that contact so that you know under what circumstances you met them, you know them, and how you can communicate with them again.
Love it. Yeah, no, I totally agree. So obviously we have a core, we have a core of folks, and then we naturally have folks in our phone in places that we're like, well, they're in my phone, but like, how do I, how do I know them, or where did that come from? So naturally that's part of that creative, creating the database. So there's a couple chats I'm going to read, but, just know that this is, it's probably the most important thing that we need to do is have a database. It's, above anything, we have to have folks that we know. In the idea of the database is, we communicate with them. They know us, we know them. So, we start talking to them about, I sell real estate. Oh, I sell real estate. Not asking them if they're looking to buy or sell, but if they realize, oh, that's right, Wayne sells real estate. Oh, that's right, Wayne sells real estate. And if I do that with 500 people, I'm just waiting for one of those 500 people to go, it's time, or for them to, have someone at their work go, this is what we're thinking. And they stop and go, you got to talk to Wayne, and that's the whole idea. And if I'm not talking to John Smith and then Roger and Darlene and Linda, if they don't remember, or if I'm not in front of them and they don't remember that I sell real estate, guess what? They're not going to remember me when they're ready, and they're not going to tell their friends or family or neighbors, to call me. So that's the whole idea of sort of having the database, and it's crucial. I mean, NAR says that, typically, our first deal, if we're new, or our first, set of deals, 80% of those are going to come from our sphere, from our database, people we know. So that's why it's so crucial. So, and this will be a big piece. So I taught Zap. I actually learned it from the start. I was the very first one to go into a company and train it for their agents. So I spent, it's been 6 years since I've worked with Zap. So I am more than happy to help any of you guys. We can, I have no issue doing a separate session if you're interested in it, or, early in the year or whatever, to kind of help you guys realize what it can do, the advantages it has, what it can't do, the whole 9 yards. So just kind of keep that in mind. So real quick, some chats. Barbara is working on one, which is perfect. And then, perfect timing. She's actually looking to meet with her team to revisit Zap and get it working for her. Roger's like he said earlier, he's a newer agent, so he's building one in Excel, which is perfect because that can easily go into a CRM when he's ready to do that. Dwayne, yeah, if you can export from Google Docs into an Excel spreadsheet, yeah, there's simple things that we can do, but the idea is us, sort of creating that. So before I go on, I'm going to have you guys give me some ideas. So unmute yourself or type it in chat. Like, where do we have these folks? If I started real estate right now, or was, getting licensed, and I wanted to create my database, where do I have these people? So I want to unmute yourself or throw it in chat and tell me, like, where my sphere, where do I know folks? Where do I have them stored right now? We've talked about a few of them. Cell phone, that's a pretty easy one. Where else am I finding folks that I know? And when I say folks I know, like, if church, perfect. Volunteer work, Facebook, yeah, perfect. Neighbors, civic groups, perfect. Love it. School events, kids' school. I'm just reading them as they go down through, so it's perfect. you know, what about your email? I mean, if you were to stop and look at your contacts in your, if you use Gmail or Yahoo or whatever, you know, you've emailed folks. So, so Barbara's asked a good question. Is it better to get started on a spreadsheet and import them, or start right off in Zap? I'd start with the spreadsheet. I would, kind of like Darlene was saying, I would do a spreadsheet. I would tweak it, because the idea of the spreadsheet is, and I'm gonna actually just log into Zap real quick. I wasn't expecting to, but I'm gonna log into Zap real quick and show you guys. At least if you're going to use Zap, there is a sample spreadsheet that will move directly. Yeah. So Denise, I'm going to show that. So Zap has a template. So, but the idea is if I kind of get it into a spreadsheet, you know, it's called a CSV file. You save it as a CSV file. It means you can upload it. If you export from somewhere, you know, it comes in a CSV file. So if we just think about, if I go grab my phone contacts, grab my email contacts, go to the MLS and grab my contacts. You know, anywhere that you have, you know, you folks, you know, any phone numbers or emails, and grab those. You know, then I get them into one spreadsheet, and I tweak it, kind of like Darlene was saying. Oh, John was in my phone and John was in my email. Let's just merge them and only have one John type thing. Because when I get that down, at least that initial piece. So if I grab everyone and I get it down, and let's just say I have 300 people, but you know, I have 300 people's phone and email, you know, I can bring that into Zap or any CRM and, you know, start working them. And then I can grow it from there by adding to the spreadsheet. I can grow it sort of a one-on-one, you know, at that point, just putting them in Zap. So great. Yeah. I mean, you know, just think, you know, I will occasionally go through Facebook and, you know, just kind of look at friends, look at their friends, look at their friends. And I'm just kind of making notes like, oh yeah, I know Roger, you know, I know, Darlene, so there's always ways that you can kind of help grow that. But I will always be, when I say it's not done, I have a notepad in my car, just kind of do. I can't tell you how many times I'm driving around or driving somewhere and I just pass a street, I pass a house, I pass a business, and I just think of someone. I'm like, oh man, I'll jot them down and go, I got, that person has to get in my database. So that's the idea of when we say build it, but it never ends because we constantly want to add to it. Not only folks we meet, but those folks we didn't think about when we were, when we were initially chatting about it or creating it. So love that. So thank you guys so much for your input on that piece of it. So yeah, so definitely before the end, I'll probably do it in the end so we can kind of just make sure we're on track here. We got about a half an hour left. I want to make sure we finish this session, and then in the end, I'll make sure I show you guys the Zap database. It's just, again, just an example to use. So, obviously, creating this, it says time needed 60 minutes. That's a pretty varying time frame. It just depends on how many you want to kind of throw in there, how much work you want to add to it. But I mean, I cannot stress how important this piece is, for your business, because, there's a stat that gets thrown out, and this is, more on the experienced side. But NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, says that around 90% of clients would use their agent again. So I just helped a buyer buy a home. I helped a seller sell their home. 90% say, I'll use Wayne again. And NAR's stats show that about 90% to 12% actually reuse the same agent. Not because they decided, during the next process that they didn't like them. It's because that agent did not stay in touch with that client, and the client forgot them, period. So, you know, and that happens when you're an agent and you go to a family event, when you run into a friend at church or in the store, and they just freeze for a second because they see your logo wear and they go, "Oh boy, totally forgot or didn't think of you, but we just did something," or my neighbor just listed their house. You know, nothing worse in the world than hearing that from someone that would have used you or referred you out, but forgot about you, forgot that you sold real estate. That's what this whole conversation is about, is, you know, can never be perfect, but we need everyone to know, like, you know, if you forget, you forget, but it's not going to be because I didn't tell you I sell real estate. If I wasn't like first in your mind, I can't control that, but it's not going to be because you forgot I sell real estate. So just kind of realize that, I mean, it's to that level as to why, when, you know, I mean, if I went to my phone every day, went to my email, went to Facebook, and contacted everyone that way consistently, you know, you could do it. But the fact is when they're all in one spot, and I have a tool like Zap to help me email them, when I have a tool that can help me, you know, stay in contact with them when I'm sending them listing alerts or whatever they, you know, home value updates in Zap, things like that, when I'm in contact with them, you know, that's the best I can do. And then throw in handwritten notes and things. So again, just kind of wanted to stress kind of the importance of this database and really why we're creating it. Yeah, Greg says, you know, there's nothing worse than you know, you know, probably the easiest, you know, version of that is when you're driving down your street and see, you know, your neighbor, you know, put a for sale sign and you didn't even, like, you know, if I lose a listing or you know, somebody, whatever, but there's nothing worse than someone, you know, that would have said or used you, or seeing a sign in the yard and you realize it at that point, like, you know, so it happens once and it sort of lights a fire under you and you're like, I don't want that to happen again. So, so again, just the importance of creating this database. Sooner the better, but if we start it, we'll be much better off than we were, you know, before we started it. Okay, so I appreciate your input in comments and things. It helps us, you know, we're all learning here. We're constantly learning. So, you know, anybody's thoughts and things like that, you know, help everyone. So, you know, so we're going to kind of go back to, you know, adopting a positive mindset. So, you know, we really want to start connecting with folks. You know, we want to reconnect with folks. You know, if we're new, we want to tell folks, you know, that we're selling real estate. You know, and again, it's not, you know, it's not like, oh, anyone looking to buy or sell. You know, that when I see those type of posts or texts or things, you know, that can be frustrating. But, you know, when we talk about, I mean, this is kind of talking about phone calls and things, and we'll actually talk about phone calls and the importance of them in a second. But, you know, I have no issue if I was to see a post from, you know, Roger that said, you know, even if it was on his, let's just use, you know, personal Facebook page. If Roger said, man, I showed 2 great homes this morning, you know, I love, you know, helping folks buy or sell real estate, and just left it at that. You know, that's not annoying to me. Roger didn't ask me if I was looking to buy or sell, or if I knew someone that was. You know, I stopped and thought, like, oh, that's right, Roger sells real estate. And that was it. That was the trigger for me. You know, and that's all really, that's what Roger posted that for, was to, you know, he probably liked to post it, but it was really to get folks to realize, you know, that I buy or sell. You know, texts, obviously we know texts are, you know, big in today's world. Some folks like them. There are still folks that don't. They want to hear a voice. So kind of realizing that as well. But when we make calls, you know, you know, you know, the first three there, you know, I don't want friends and family to think I'm only calling because I want something. I thought I was getting into real estate, not telemarketing, and I hate the word no. So those three, you know, three things are huge. You know, in you know, huge fears for us to not just pick up our phone and call, you know, and I'll just use friends and family as an example. But really, when I think about it most, I think about past clients. You know, staying in touch with past clients. So we really have to get over the fear of picking up the phone, because it is probably the most effective way. I don't even say probably, it is the most effective way for us to get our message out, to say hi to someone, you know, call a past client up. Hey, just checking on you. I hope everything's great with the house. You know, end it at that. So, you know, so extremely important that we, you know, we should be making, you know, I don't know, I mean, at least 5 calls a week to folks, and just sort of saying, hey, how's everything going? You know, it doesn't even necessarily have to get into the real estate side. If it's a past client, they're going to, you know, I mean, they will remember this minute they hear either your voice or hear your name. And when you stop it with, hope everything's great with the house, hope everything's great with the family, you know, whatever the situation is, you know, just know that that will resonate with them, you know, you know, you know, at no level. It's unbelievable. And then when we talk about the word no, you know, I think of that as, you know, calling an expired listing or calling a for sale by owner. That's typically when we would hear, you know, get hung up on, don't call me, you know, hear the word no, here, I'm going to do it on my own kind of thing. But, you know, I just hang up the phone. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll move on to my next expired to call or for sale by owner to call. So, so just kind of know, you know that calls are important. So I'm going to stop for a second. We still have about a half an hour. So, I want to know if anyone on the phone, maybe Linda, maybe Darlene, or maybe even Christina, some of the experienced agents, anyone, has anyone had an experience with the calling piece? Are you calling? Do you call folks to say, hey, in any good or maybe even negative experiences with that?
Well, I love to call.
Oh, good.
I know it's kind of weird, but I'm old school, and I really feel like that is my business. I mean, I feel like now it may not be necessarily like it could be a text, but primarily it's a call. Typically, I call and then I follow up with a text. I know that might not work for a lot of people, but that's the way I do it, and it's just enough to say hello. You know, it's not necessarily past clients, but I do that as well. But even if it's a expired listing that I happen to catch or for sale by owner, I just basically make the call, introduce myself. I always state Darlene Kuzmic with ERA. I just leave it at that. And then just whether it's a for sale by owner or whatever, I leave my name and number, tell them briefly what I'm looking for or asking about, or, you know, the reason I'm calling, but make it short and sweet, and then just wait for them to call back. And then I'll usually give it a week or so and follow up, believe it or not. So.
No, love that.
I have an app on my phone where it registers each time that I put in a new contact, and I'll go back after a month or so to all the new contacts that had registered with the input on my iPhone, and I'll go back and contact those people once more if I haven't talked to them in that last 30 days, and just, you know, more or less knock on their door and say, hello, I hadn't talked to you in a month or so. How's things going, kind of a thing.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, and Greg said go from cold calls to warm calls, call Sphere on their couple different things, call Sphere on their birthday, and then quarterly after that. you know, it's a fear that, it's a fear that some of us have, plain and simple, is sort of picking up that phone and, just like the three, points there, like, you call someone and like, what do you want? I'm not looking to buy or sell kind of thing. But, when you call the friends, the family, the sphere, the past clients, and say, hey, and kind of leave it at that, just know that they are on the, even if they don't, I love the fact that you call and then follow up with a text, because I don't know this, but I'm sure, Darlene, you get a very good response, if not from the call piece, the text piece. I'm sure you get responses that say, thank you. I'm sure you get a response from most of the texts.
Yeah. And I would say that the biggest piece of why my business is successful is follow-up. That's the number one thing I would say.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
And, we'll kind of recap, and just, I'm kind of using Darlene a lot here, which I appreciate your input for everyone. Darlene's a very successful agent, very busy, no assistant. So, it's not, and not that that matters, but, I'm just saying we all have this time. You just take, a little time here, a little time here to, and kind of piece, as you're piecing your day together, there should be a piece that is follow up. And however you're following up, ideally if it's calls or texts or more direct than, emails or Facebook posts, but I love that. Hey, Darlene, if you would either put in the chat or let us know, Roger's asking what the app is that you use that tracks the.
Oh, actually, I'll have to find it. I don't remember what it's called. It's just, it works in the background.
Okay.
So my husband helped me set it up. So let me ask him real quick and I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Then just throw it in chat. That'd be great.
All right, I sure will. Thanks.
Thank you. And then before we move on, Greg just says, as a way to find folks, we talk about for sale by owners and expireds quick. Greg just threw out there, check with job changes and promotions in LinkedIn, which is just another social. Get on LinkedIn. Connect with as many folks as you can. They'll connect with you. Kind of use that as a potential lead gen option to reach out to folks. Great point. Okay, so as we go here, create your contact list. So we talk about this double play and how many contacts you need to make today. This kind of goes back to our business plan. So when we filled out the business plan, we said we wanted to make 66,000 and broke it all down, and it said you need to make 34 contacts a week. And that's, if we're working 5 days, that's 7 a day. So we talked about this prior to kind of stressing the call piece. So 7 people a day. If I reach out to 7 folks, talk to 7 folks, make contact with 7 folks, that's going to get me to my 34, which is going to get me, eventually, if everything works out, to my 66K. Just think about 7 calls a day. If you did this every other day, or if you did it once a week, today are my 7 contacts will be personal calls, and then tomorrow will be texts or whatever, how valuable that can be, in your process. And in one, just real quick, one thing that I learned, and I was, I was kind of given a hint, if you make if you don't like doing something, you're going to push it off. If it's on my schedule today, and let's say I have 5 things on my schedule, and 4 are like, well, those are good, and the 5th one is make calls, and I'm like dreading it, I'm going to do the other 4. I'm probably going to create 2 other things to do, and I'm going to do everything I can to push that off and maybe do the calls tomorrow. It'll just happen. Someone told me once, do the calls first thing in the morning, get it done with, and then the rest of your day is going to be like, sweet, after that I can do anything today. So kind of think about, if whatever, it really kind of works with whatever your schedule looks like. If there's one thing that you're kind of like, apprehensive about, and calling can be one of them for a lot of people, make that first call. That wasn't so bad. and then, you know, get your calls done, and then kind of think like, man, the rest of my day is just cakewalk. So. Oh, so Dan says, so Dan, unmute yourself and kind of tell us what you're thinking with that.
Okay, so what you were describing there about focusing on your highest priority targets the first thing in the morning, so making your phone calls. We humans are so good at procrastinating. Studies have shown that if you put off your most important tasks until the end of the day, that while you do the smaller mundane task early in the morning or in the early afternoon, that big ugly frog is going to be still in your subconscious because you know you still have to tackle it. So the whole point of the book, Eat That Frog, is by focusing on your most important things to do first thing in the morning, and then everything else can be done after that. So your most important project is going to produce the most results and the most benefits to your business. So that's where the book title Eat That Frog comes from. But it's about time management, it's about priorities, it's about focus, and just what you were talking about right there is very well depicted in the book. I'd highly recommend it. I used to have my staff and interns read that book all the time. But yeah, you were dead on with do it first thing in the morning, get it out of the way.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for that, Dan. I appreciate it. So another book, Eat That Frog. So, so yeah, good question. Roger says, does it make sense to strategically time your calls so that whoever you're calling won't be at work or otherwise busy so they can take your call? You know, I have a couple thoughts on that. So the idea, you know, I want to talk to the folks. So I'm not really doing this just to do it, you know, like usually I'm like, you know, I kind of in my mindset want to talk to them and like kind of be like, hey, yeah, that went well kind of thing, not just leave a message. But I don't think you have to sort of think about it too in depth. If you were to leave a message, like Darlene said, if you were to leave a message and then send a text like, oh, just left you a message, but wanted to, you know, quick say, hey, you know, and kind of recap your message, you know, to me, I mean, I think that's valuable. I think it's very valuable if you had to leave a message and they just weren't available. So, you know, I think it's just as, you know, probably not just as valuable as actually talking to them, but you know, the call followed up with a quick text, I think can kind of cover what our goals was to actually, you know, be in touch with someone. So, you know, so I don't think you have to, I mean, you certainly don't want to call it 7 in the morning and you know, I don't really want to analyze, you know, when someone might be available. I kind of want to, these are my 7 people. These are who I'm calling today. I'm just going to do it. And I'm starting at 9 and I'm going to be done by, you know, 9:30 or what, you know, however long it takes. You know, I think that's maybe a better mindset than thinking too much into it. But certainly if there's someone you truly want to talk to or, you know, you get to 7 folks and really want to, you know, have a chat with them, then maybe you think about it a little bit, you know, about when would be best to chat with them. So hopefully that helps, Roger. All right. So I'm going to actually just sort of, yeah, so we are recording our calls and things. We'll start that next week with kind of, you know, really tracking our calls, because we want to, you know, when we start making calls and start reaching out to folks, you know, it just naturally will lead to business. I mean, just like Darlene says, you know, that's the core of her business is follow-up. So when we just start reaching out to folks, we know that it will lead to business. So I'm going to kind of go through this a little quicker because I want to get to something actually Dan had mentioned about scheduling and time blocking. So in Zap, there are follow-up plans. So again, just using Zap as an example, I can't remember who, but somebody uses Buffini. You know, there are follow-up plans, you know, relationship builders in there. So in Zap, we have follow-up plans in there as far as the email piece, but just know that you know, similar to everything we're talking about, it's more than just emails. I mean, we cannot just set someone up on an email campaign and go, yes, I'm touching base with, 500 people. That's going to lead to some business. We have to mix in our, a campaign can be a drip campaign. That's email. A reel, and they always kind of highlight the reel. A relationship builder is a mix between calls, emails, texts, social media. And we kind of build that. And everyone's a little different in how we want to do it, but that's kind of the idea of building a relationship builder. Is kind of mixing in, even handwritten notes, things like that, cards, business cards, sending business cards in holidays or birthday cards, things like that. That's all part of building, the right relationship builder campaign, more than just, thinking an email campaign, which is a part of it, can be done automatically. But instead of, thinking just that, having a variety of things. So yes, Barbara, I will send the video as soon as we yes, as soon as it downloads and I can get it over to YouTube. I'll post it and email it, so everyone can watch or rewatch. So okay, so we'll continue talking about the building that relationship builder. We'll talk about it more when we get into Zap, and we'll kind of have that form to be able to create our own, to make sure we're touching base with folks. So yeah, we got about 10 minutes. So I really want to get to, well, I mean, this isn't the worst. It's kind of a neat slide. So and it starts, that mindset piece, that I mentioned, and then Dan awesomely followed up with is, we can, I've been in front of thousands and thousands of real estate agents across the country, when I was with corporate, and you see it all, you hear it all. Folks that are super busy throughout the day and don't have time for this, and it's really telling. And I do this, so it's not like I'm saying anything that I don't do. It's very telling when you sort of stop and we're like, man, that day flew by. And my biggest fear is that I didn't prospect that day. I didn't call, I didn't do it. I was just kind of doing busy work, and like, I got a list of things done, but really the idea is, what activities can I build into my day that will make me money, that will get me appointments? So the calls will get you appointments. Working on your value prop and having that in place, doing your business, everything we're talking about now. But when we get through this class, and you wake up in the morning, like, what are you going to do during the day that will make you money, by getting appointments, and that's prospecting. That's being in touch with your sphere, with, when you get, or if you have past clients, things like that. So, so it's extremely important that we sort of, get in the mindset of, going on social or Facebook and, purposely posting, one or two things is one thing. Going on Facebook and posting something and then being on there for 45 minutes, it can happen. Again, not shaming anyone, but you can't say you were busy on Facebook with your business if you were scrolling through you got caught in there for 45 minutes. So again, just always be aware of what you can build into your day to get us appointments. I just want to check, a couple chats came in. Yes, I did send the video last night, the recording from Monday, and the recording from today's hopefully can be out today. And then hopefully the day of the session, I'll be able to have the recordings out from now on. So I'm gonna talk about time blocking. So this is where we're going to kind of end today's session and this week's session. So I'm going to go through this and then sort of recap, what our goals are. And I know it's Christmas and crazy, but what our goals are for, by next Monday. So hopefully we can, continue to stay on focus even with the holiday. So, there's not I always talk about, national coaches and trainers and, speakers and things. So, been fortunate enough over the last 11 years, especially all my time with ERA, to have met and seen at Fuel and just, folks that we, on our quarterly meeting we just had, to be able to just hear folks that, are traveling the country, speaking and have tons and tons of real estate experience, talk about, what they've seen and heard and what makes a successful agent. And there won't be one of them across the board that says time blocking isn't crucial. Because of almost something something I just mentioned is it's so easy to, and Dan as well, to like, well, I'm going to kind of do this first because I can get it done in 10 minutes and I can feel good that I finished a little project. And then something gets pushed down, or, it's so easy for us to get through a day, say nothing about, our personal lives and everything that's going on. I'm talking about just our real estate side. To get caught up and get sidetracked and get caught up with, 2 deals that are going on and like, well, I could make those calls, but, probably should deal with this, this real quick. And, so, pushing things down. So time blocking is the one way where, first of all, you'll wake up and go, well, I know what I'm doing right now. And I know what I'm going to do after this. And then you can build in a catch up period in there. But it's pretty rewarding when you have a blocked schedule. So every Monday at 9, from 9 to 9:30, I make my calls, or 9 to 10, whatever the time frame is. 9 to 10, I do this. From 10 to 11, I do this. And then I have a 11 to 12 to catch up and, catch up on calls. It's pretty rewarding when, someone calls you up and go, I have to see this house. I have to see it at 9. And you go, well, I'm tied up from 9 to 11, but I can set it up for 11, because then from 9 to 10, guess what you're doing? You're making your calls, you're prospecting, and whatever that day looks like, that's the idea of, of time blocking is, nope, I'm tied up from 9 to 10, but I am happy to do it at, I can meet you there at 10:30, or, return calls at 10:01, that type of thing. So, it'd be great if you guys kind of, even if we started with the priority pieces, prospecting. So if truly the only thing on your time block to start with was every day, because we should prospect every day, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, whatever the hour is, if we all just put it in our phone, prospecting, and built around that, and we prospected from 10 to 11, period. You did not go on an appointment. You did not say you were available. You were tied up from 10 to 11. You don't have to tell them what you're doing. You're just tied up, but you're free the second after. That will quickly help us start thinking about prioritizing our day to do and focus on activities that get appointments and make us money, period. It will work because, like I said, and we've kind of heard over and over, it is so easy that if there's one thing that you're just, I don't want to say scared of, but if there's just a smidgen of fear, or you're like, oh, I hate doing that piece of it, it will get pushed back. It'll get pushed to the next day. You'll be like, oh, I got tomorrow to do it. Then it'll go through, it'll just keep getting pushed back. So sort of the idea of time blocking is not only, do you kind of just know what you're doing, but the fact is when you get it done and it's in that time frame, it didn't get pushed back because and you do it by priority. Like, this is so important to my business. If I don't do it right now, my business is going to be hurting. So kind of thinking along those lines. So again, we don't have to necessarily jump into it, full-fledged, but if we start building this, it will be very, very productive and effective for your business. So that is what I wanted to get through today. So I'm going to recap a couple things, and then I'm going to get into Zap and show you that spreadsheet quick. So ideally, we can actually start building our spreadsheet or thinking about it or continue what we're doing. But yeah, just so you guys know, the app that Darlene was talking about is called Recent Contacts. Recent Contacts, and it's free through the App Store. So anybody that wants to sort of check that out and see if it's something that would be, beneficial to them, that'd be great. So before I jump off of this to go in Zap, I'm going to recap quick, but then want to kind of open it up for any questions or comments from anyone. The value prop, it will be big for us. So if we can take what we had today, like I said, you can Google. I mean, if you Google, I'm sure, Inman, Real Trends, I'm sure there's some great sites out there that will help us, kind of build our own value prop. I think that's big. In the next piece is the CRM piece, the database. If we have one, like Darlene, let's keep tweaking it. Barbara's building hers. I think Roger's building. I think we can all continue to build it, but let's kind of make sure that we're thinking about where all our folks are. I think if we continue building that, we'll be working those folks sooner than later. So I think that'll be huge for us as well. And then, the time blocking piece as well. But yeah, for sure, let's focus on, I want to have value prop done by Monday. So that'll be a focus. And then if the next piece is that we are working on our CRM, our database, that'll be the big piece. And then we're gonna get in a little deeper, next week and start putting things into place. So super excited. Thank you guys so much for joining us again this week. I know it's crazy. I'm going to just check chat quick. Yes. Yeah, Michelle, I will get in touch with you and we'll be able to get you guys, some business planning things for sure. And then the rest of that. All right. While I go to Zap, if anyone wants to unmute themselves, I'd kind of like to know, this is my first time doing this, session. So obviously, hopefully my experience is kind of helping the process, but I'd really love to hear from anyone that wants to add, or just talk about, if this is effective for you, if it's valuable. I'd love to kind of hear from you guys. So anyone want to unmute themselves and let me know what they're thinking? I take that as a no. Someone's got to want to unmute themselves and. People are chatting, so. John, we have a corporate account for Zoom. And I actually have, well, you could, if it's an MP4, you can upload to YouTube. So to trim and stuff, I use a program called, I don't even know, it's MOV AIVI. I use it to just trim and trim the video and then upload directly from there to YouTube. But if you're on YouTube or looking to put something on YouTube, you can simply upload an MP4. That's kind of the format that you need it in. Okay, so real quick, as we end here, I want to show you guys. You guys can see my screen, correct? The Zap dashboard. I want to make sure that you guys can.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So if I hit this plus add, it's where I can do a contact, so I can do an individual. If I just click on import contacts, This is where I grab a CSV file. So once I get one created, I can grab it. But what the file I was talking about is, you see in blue here, it says sample CSV file. If I just click that, it opens up an Excel spreadsheet. This is the exact format, if I was going to use Zap, the exact format that if it's in, if I get my folks into a format that looks just like this, I can upload it into Zap with no issue, no moving around or anything. So, if you're looking to get started or have something and want to transfer it to here and then build from here, however you do it. But again, this is just that one example. So, obviously there's an example here, but, if you've used Zap or want to, the key here is that, we can auto assign email drip campaigns based on, some information in this. So, and we can tag them. So there's some things we can do in here to, like Darlene's tweaking hers, like, we can tweak this. If we get, 100, 200, 500,000 people in a spreadsheet like this, we can bring them directly into Zap, assign them a follow-up plan, and kind of be ahead of the game, and then start working them from there. So again, just to show you guys, in Zap, add a contact, import contacts, and then just click this sample CSV. And that's just one example of using a spreadsheet that'll help you start building your database. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Michelle said, yeah, as far as, it's tricky when you're doing CSV files. I mean, if I export from Gmail, the CSV file is like 240 columns wide. Like, goodness gracious, that's a lot of information. So, so kind of having it in one spreadsheet and then tweaking it for Zap, is a much better process. But happy to help anyone through that. I know that was kind of a quick thing, but the idea is start putting the folks together, and then, start putting them together, gathering them up, and then it'll be much easier for us to, to help you start working them, to get them in the right CRM and start working them and how to work them and things like that. We'll continue talking about that. There's a lot of ways, but having them together and then letting us help you build that, it will be the key. So. All right, so thank you guys so much. Again, please respond. Hopefully I can get a text out today, but that email, please, don't be afraid to respond in the email. You can come directly, just reply to just me. If there's something we've gone over and you want some better clarification, if you're gonna want some help with something we're talking about, please, we're happy to help you. We'll hook you up with your office coordinator, office manager. We've got lots of options to make sure you guys get the help. You are not, I repeat, not in this alone. We are here for you. So we're throwing a lot at you, a lot to do's, but we're here to help you do it and make sure that we're successful, not only after just 4 weeks of this, obviously for years to come. So. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I know it's the day before Christmas Eve and still kind of crazy for all you guys. So thank you so much. I'll get everything out to you. Have an awesome holiday. And we will see you bright and early Monday morning. So thank you guys so much. Have a great holiday.